Why are you... Ooh, that brake. Hold on, dude. I was anticipating way more kick. That was literally, I didn't feel anything. Like nothing.
Okay, a little demonstration with no muzzle device at all. 7.62 by 39 full power ammo, 16-inch barrel. Even if I really try to control the recoil, I can, but it takes a ton of control. That's full-blown 7.62. Proper stance and a healthy muzzle brake like this shoots like a bone stock AR-15, honestly. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're talking about this little guy. This is the Unrivaled muzzle brake for the AK. It's 14x1 left hand. That's your AKM, your very standard AK thread pitch. I have had this particular one for about a year and a half. This is a pre-production model, and I even have the current production model. I have thousands of rounds, many hours, competitions, and time on this brake, and it's led me to one conclusion, and that is that I think this very well could be the most capable brake for an AK on the market today. I know that's a bold statement, but I'm going to tell you why I feel that way and how this thing works and a little bit about the company Unrivaled. This company did not ask me to make this video. I'm just so impressed by this thing and the guys behind the company that developed this thing that I really think it deserves a standalone video. So let's go ahead and talk about the Unrivaled brake. So if you're new to the channel, I do a ton of competition shooting. At the very least, I'm shooting one competition a month, sometimes two, and if I'm lucky, I can maybe squeeze in 3 competitions a month, but that's rare these days. Back in my youth, I'm even looking at some of the trophies here from like 2017 through 2019. We were shooting 3 competitions a month, easy. Rifle matches, 3-gun matches, quite a bit of stuff. A pistol match here and there, but I basically found my niche, and that is outlaw-style, rifle-only matches. That's my bread and butter. And I, 99% of the time, am shooting AKs. I've been shooting AKs at competitions hardcore since 2016, since my very first match at Red October. And what I've seen during that time is an absolute boom in competitive matches specifically tailor-made for AKs. AK-only matches, everything from Red October, that kind of started the trend, to Red October Cold War, Thunder on the Tundra, Kalashnikon, AK Masters, and of course our event, Kalash Bash. And I'm sure there's even ones out there that I've never heard of, but the point is competitive shooting specifically for AKs is absolutely at its peak right now, and it shows no sign of slowing regardless of what ammo is banned or whatnot. Competitive shooting with AKs is at an absolute high. So what's kind of cool is we're seeing products come out specifically tailor-made to make your AK go fast at a competition. Or if anything, make it shoot flat, kill recoil, and shoot like a competition gun. So that's where this little guy comes in. One 1-0. 8-8. The Unrivaled brake comes from a company that was started by a couple of guys, Kyle Litzy and Zach Smith, that are 2 of the most highly decorated, most well-known guys in the competitive AK scene. Now, outside of the competition AK scene, Kyle and Zach are just freaking killers, man. I mean, they go to matches all over the country and just crush. They win everywhere they go. Zach Smith even shoots for Terran. Kyle Litzy shoots for IWI and even develops more of his own products. Like, these guys are just doing a ton of stuff in the competitive scene, but as far as all the AK matches, if you go to any of them, and these 2 guys are shooting, you can bet your balls that you're going to see both of these guys on the podium for an overall match win. That's just what they do. The point is, the guys behind this are competition big brains. I always look at these guys and think, you know, what really high-end drivers are to F1, like championship F1 drivers, Kyle and Zach are like the championship F1 race car drivers of the competitive AK scene. They got together and decided to make a no-nonsense, purpose-built brake for AKs to excel in that scene. So I know I rambled, but that's the genesis of this brake. I just want you to know who's behind it. You have guys that actually go out and do this stuff. They shoot competitively. They shoot AKs. They've built AKs. And they're really smart, and they're really good at what they do. And a lot of thought went into this brake. So a while back, they reached out to me and said, hey, would you be interested in trying one of these? And this is that original one. This is a pre-production Unrivaled muzzle device. Now, some of you that have followed this channel for a while will recognize this thing. It's been in 2 meltdown videos. It's had thousands of rounds put through it, multiple competitions, and the production version of this is currently sitting on my Romanian kit build, and I took first place in my division for the first time ever at Kalashnikon and got that little red trophy up there. After years of coming in second, thanks to this device on this gun, I actually bagged my very first place win at a match where they don't separate calibers. So we'll touch back on that in just a second. They sent this thing out a while back. I was intrigued, and believe me, I've been shooting JMac brakes forever, and I would tell you that they are the best, and they are really freaking good. This is something different. This is like unapologetically purpose-made just to dampen recoil. It causes a ton of flash. There's a ton of concussion, and the gun is loud. It doesn't try to mask any of that. You know, like a lot of JMac brakes and some other manufacturers that make brakes try to do things that will hide a little bit of flash, maybe try to hide a little bit of that concussion where they're not just so brutal. This is like you got a Nissan GTR and you want it to be loud and spit flames out of the exhaust but beat everyone in a drag race. This is that. This is what that is. It doesn't care about anything other than killing recoil, and I am here to tell you it works pretty damn good, and I've got the trophy to prove that. And you can actually go check out, if you watch the, I want to say it's the part 2 of our PSA Spiker meltdown video, I actually show you shooting that gun full turbo with no muzzle device and comparing that to this muzzle device.
Noticeably different on recoil control, and clears the bayonet.
It just works really freaking good. Before we go any further, some people just don't really fully understand the difference between a muzzle brake and a flash hider. They do not do the same thing. They are very different. I'm not trying to insult anyone's intelligence here, but we may have some viewers that just don't understand the difference. So, really quick, flash hider. This is a pretty standard 4-prong flash hider. Its only purpose, its only job is to hide muzzle flare or flash. It's concealment. That's really the only thing. And it really typically does not make the rifle any louder whatsoever. That is a flash hider. A muzzle brake typically will have ports and chambers for gas to splash into and pull the rifle forward, breaking the recoil. It will cause more flash typically and will enhance the volume of the gun. It'll make the gun substantially louder, and the concussion that blows out of the sides of these things will be pretty substantial. That is the big difference between muzzle brakes. Softens recoil, but at a pretty big cost. Flash hiders hide all the flash, have no concussion, don't make the gun louder, but they do absolutely nothing for recoil. So how exactly does this particular brake work, and what makes it different? Just like any other brake works, gas is going to come out, it's going to crash into these walls as the round is passing through. The gas is going to crash into these walls and pull the gun forward, canceling out recoil straight back. The gun's trying to come straight back under recoil. The gas is pushing forward on these fish gill shaped ports, pushing it forward. This is all happening at the same time, so the impulse feels like the gun doesn't move. It should stay relatively level. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your muzzle rise will stop at all. You can see that all of that gas doesn't come out of the top unless you open up these holes. So now you get in to these little holes that are threaded, and it's going to come with plugs. So the idea here is it's tunable. If you are still getting muzzle rise, what you would do is You would remove these plugs, exposing some of these holes to vent gas up and to help bring the muzzle down. So you're stopping the muzzle from coming back, and you're trying to stop the muzzle from coming down. Ideally, when you take the shot, you want everything to stay level. What's even more interesting is this little blast chamber here has holes all the way around. For a right-handed shooter, your muzzle rise may come up and to the right slightly. A lefty would be opposite, up and to the left. That's why AK slant brakes are canted. They're meant for right-handed shooters to force the barrel back down and to the left to try to cancel out that up and to the right. So the idea there is you would tune the ports on the side at different angles to force gas not just straight up, but at like 30 and 45 degree angles off to the right and up for the right-handed shooter. And you can do the opposite thing on the left side of the muzzle device, 30 and 40 degrees off to the left if you're a left-handed shooter, and maybe your body naturally, the way you're holding it, is going to cause the muzzle climb to go the other way. I've actually got all of these holes plugged. One hole in the blast chamber is open, and the one at the 45 degree or like a 30 degree is open. So I've got a little bit of gas venting up and to the right. I've got the brake pulling the gun forward, and I've got two holes pushing it down and to the left. All of this culminates in a barrel staying relatively in the same spot as I'm hosing. All of those gases are canceling out all the opposite motions due to recoil, and everything should stay relatively flat. And hopefully you've already been seeing some footage, but here's some more footage.
Sucker's magic, man. Full power ammo, 16-inch barrel, 30 cal, taming it quite well. Ooh. That's just the Texas heat getting to you. That's all that is. So as a test of this muzzle device, I want to shoot a different round through it. I have a M77 here in 7.62x51 or 308. It has the same thread pitch, and it also has a detent, so we can adapt that muzzle device to this gun. This gun, I can tell you, with a flash hider, has pretty tremendous recoil, even with the gas on setting 1. I'll demonstrate that for you now, and then we will put the Unrivaled brake on to show you the difference. This gun recoils straight back and to the right. All right, so I'll just calm down. Okay, we have the Unrivaled on the 308 now. Unrivaled, let's see if it can tame the beast. Pretty different. Wow. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's 308, we're shooting that fast, that flat, just so everyone knows. That sucker's super effective. This gun recoils straight back and to the right. All right, so I'll just calm down. Pretty different. Wow. Woo-hoo-hoo. That's 308, we're shooting that fast, that flat, just so everyone knows. Big difference.
I've seen well over a dozen, sometimes like 20 AKs set up with these muzzle devices. More specifically, I'm seeing like the top guys that end up taking podium. When I say take podium, I mean they came in first, second, or third in their division. So when I say take podium, that means they're either winning or damn near winning. They're getting a medal for something. All the guys taking podium typically were running this muzzle device. And again, stuff like this is intended for competition. Or if you don't really shoot competitions, but you just want the softest shooting rifle possible without tuning gas, that's the intended purpose. Again, not really something I would shoot indoors at all. Not something I would take to a class, a defensive class, nothing like that. If you're just going to go shoot trash with your buddies and you don't want to piss everyone off, not really the intended purpose. So again, before I even see the comments, which people are going to say, oh man, I bet the muzzle blast is crazy. Oh, I bet the concussion is crazy. It definitely is. But when you're shooting a match, you're the only one shooting that stage. You're not worried about anyone else's feelings. You're worried about how the gun performs and how fast you can run to try to win the damn thing. That's the intended purpose. No nonsense. It's all business. Doesn't play around worrying about anything else. That's just what it does. So again, relative to what we're talking about, competition, it's freaking amazing. They do make these in, like 5, 8s by 24 and half by 28 for ARs. So it's not just for AKs anymore, but this is definitely where it started. And I think it's really where it excels. That's all I have for you. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. And I would be really interested to see down in the comments if you guys are actually interested in shooting competitions. And if you are, how do you set up your AKs? What kind of muzzle devices are you guys using? What's your thought process on this one? Is this something that you would use? If you wouldn't, why not? I'm sure the guys at Unrivaled would probably read the comments and they'd like some insight too. But let me know. I love hearing about how people set up their guns and how they tackle the same problems I'm tackling. Try to get an AK to go fast at a match. More than one ways to skin a cat. I love hearing all the different ways. So I'll be reading those comments down below. Thank you all for watching, and we'll definitely see you next time.